All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the weekly Wednesday lunchtime live stream on twitch.tv/DDO stream. I'm DDO's community manager, Cordovan, and so I was hoping the worlds would be up by now. We are releasing update 57 today. We have announced the downtime until 1 p.m. Eastern today. It is not 1 p.m. yet. I was hoping it'd be up by noon here, but alas, it is not. So I guess we're just going to have to sit here and stare at each other for a little while, and I will be keeping an eye on our email and team chat, and I'll give you the latest as we get closer to release. I would expect we'd release by 1 o'clock. Should be fine. We're just working through the process. But we're not here yet, are we? So I thought I would take a look at the release notes and largely do some Q&A. And then when we can get in game, if there is time, I'll show off the new area and probably start running one of the new quests. So welcome, everyone, and thank you so much, everyone, for being here. When is the last day of the after party for hardcore? Very good question. We are working to reopen character transfers. And there's a good chance that work could be completed today with the uptime for update 57. We're doing some work to allow us to hopefully reopen character transfers. However, that is still in process, so I can't actually announce that character transfers are open yet because something could come up in the testing process here that would require us to perhaps not do what we intended to do. So, but if everything goes well, within the next hour or two, we'll hear that character transfers will have reopened, and we'll have a closing date for you with that messaging. I don't want to announce it today because, or at this moment, I'd rather it be said correctly in the official announcement, and we were talking about it yesterday, so I don't want to give a date at the moment, but we're going to give you at least a few weeks, should be fine, to get your characters off of the hardcore server. And that will be before some other things that we'll be probably talking about in the near future. We're going to be using that hardware. So, but we're going to make sure you have plenty of time to get all your characters, take care of everything you need to do for the hardcore transfer process. There was also, as long as we're talking character transfers here, we're also know that, say, Orion in particular, although there were a few other servers that ended up being impacted, but generally Orion was a main culprit of having some issues with character transfers. And we're still working through some of the process there. We think this work may allow us to reopen transfers to Orion as well as the regular servers, but until we go through that process, I can't say that for sure. If there is an issue with Orion, when we bring the character transfer process up again, what we'll do is set aside a period in the future where we make transfers to Orion free for a period of time, so that at this time, if Orion is not available, you could transfer to a different world, and then at some point here, hopefully in the very near future, when we get this issue fixed with Orion, if it is not fixed when we reopen character transfers, we will allow players to just transfer to Orion for free for a little bit. And that's how we'll handle that. So that's currently in process as we speak, some of the work being done to deploy and validate the work. And so we'll have more news really this afternoon. But I'm just about an hour or two too early to be able to really give you all the finer details of what our plans are, other than what I've outlined here right now. It's been a series of technical issues on the transfer process. I don't really want to speak to it other than to say it's been a complex process and one that we, frankly, are still investigating in some aspects. But we are in a position, we believe, to hopefully reopen character transfers here in the very near future. I've heard of no plans to bring back the Season Pass. Jenny in Twitch chat asks about the Season Pass. I have not heard. Well, I am not a master pronouncer, so me saying it wrong is certainly a possibility, but my belief is it's Orion. Orion. But that's just me. So, well, transfers will be free in that case because transfers from hardcore are free. And so you can transfer your character for free from hardcore to whatever world, and then in the future, if this were to come to pass, you would be able to transfer then again for free to Orion, which was your intended target, as it were, to begin with. In that case. All right. Well, I expected a lot more questions right out of the gate here. This is a collaborative process to get through this downtime, and I need some questions. But no, let me actually see. We have another live stream happening as well that I'm keeping an eye on the other game side. But let me call up our release notes and talk a little bit about Update 57 for those of you who perhaps haven't been following us closely. Today's release is going to bring a new quest pack, a new adventure pack to the DDO store. It's free for VIPs. Grip of the Hidden Hand. It's 5 new quests taking place. The story takes place in and with Moorgrave University. This is in Sharn. You don't need any of the Sharn stuff in order to get it. You can just go to the Clifftop Tower District and you'll see an airship pretty close to where you poured in, and that'll take you to Moorgrave University, where this adventure pack takes place. Level 16 in Heroic, 33 in Legendary. And that's really all you need to know in terms of the new quest pack. I don't actually have that points total. I know someone was going to ask in Twitch chat. I saw it earlier before we went live. What's the price of the new quest pack? I don't have that in front of me right now, unfortunately. I failed to write that down, and the person who would have that answer is currently busy, so I'm going to have to defer an answer on that one. I apologize. The other bits, though, in Update 57, there's some quality of life and bug fixes that are in the release notes, and then we've done 2 systems changes that really merit their own category. That being an Imbue update, which I'll talk about in just a little bit, in addition to a hit point update. This is going to give players, particularly at lower levels, some more hit points to work with, and we're changing some of the base die that you get for some of the classes for hit points. We're also have some performance fixes that are in this update. We tend to prefer that people tell us we've succeeded rather than us announce we've succeeded. But we've got a couple of things, one of which is the Imbue update, which will help deal with some of the communication that had otherwise been clogged up by procs. And then an issue that's at the top of the general bug fixes here, which is that we've been able to streamline the communication if you were to say, like, rapidly hitting a button, maybe a hireling button, maybe you're on, as it was coming off of cooldown. Some of the what is reported as failed procs, right, or failed clicks, right? Some of that should be taken care of. In addition, this is also a performance measure because it's going to help alleviate some of the unnecessary communication that was taking place with that particular aspect of game. So a couple other things, like we've actually finally started to organize spell components so that you can sort them by type and number at the front of their name. It's just a text change, but it'll help you sort the stuff in your inventory for all of your spell components. So having to know which one the level 7 cleric spell component is no longer a thing. We have actually added the text rename to the rename tag in the bank system. Also, we've made a change that when closing a bank panel other than the shared bank, remaining panels will remain active. So if you close a bank panel other than the shared bank, the remaining panels will remain active. This will help if maybe you're done with the reincarnation cache or something, and you just want to exit out that thing without the whole thing coming down. You can now do that. However, it is true if you close the shared bank, the remaining panels will also close. All right, let me go to Twitch chat quick, and then before I start kind of going off on a probably a fairly wordy topic about the Imbue system. So let me go take a look at chat. Transfer to or out of Orion. Yes, we'll have clarity as to what is working and not regarding Orion a little bit later when we have our official announcement. But yeah, whatever we need to do there is what we're going to do. Does that mean everyone's going to move to Orient and create a super server? I wouldn't think so. But I suppose, hey, we're not going to stop you if you want to do that with your friends or whatever. It wouldn't be worth trying to gate that, you know? So. That's true. You are actually correct. Wagony? It's a little hard to read some of the colors that are used in Twitch chat, but it says it's pronounced however the person interacting with it pronounces it. Regarding pronouncers, particularly regarding Eberron, that is true. Keith Baker has long been very supportive of the idea of you can really call it whatever you want to. There's very little official pronunciation. There is some, you know, but yeah, it is actually kind of whatever you want to call it. So, all right. So, Hardcore League to not Orion to Orion all free. Correct. If we would now remember, this is if it doesn't just work, which would be the ideal solution. So hopefully that will be what we will announce. But if Orion does develop a problem, or if we go live with it and it's not functioning, then we would be able to take characters who wanted to transfer from Hardcore to Orion, essentially let them transfer to a different server, and then in the future we'll make transfers to Orion free for a period of time, and people can just transfer their character to that. So it basically just give you a way to transfer for free, regardless of the calendar, essentially. Although there would have to be a process by which we would eventually make character transfers not free to Orion, but we'll make sure to give people plenty of time to do the work they wanted. Any plans to hand out more pet rocks in the near future? I think so. Last Friday, we did the Extra Life Marathon for the other game. And I have it in my head to try to do one in the near future here. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it this weekend. If I can do it by this weekend, I will. We'll see. Like run the new quest pack, and I could probably even do some pet rock drops. So perhaps. You heard a rumor that there's going to be a return of an old hardcore season again. If true, any details I'm able to share. I could confirm that that's something we've been considering. I really wouldn't want to get more into it than that, but, you know, we do, like I said, we have plans to reuse that hardcore server, which is why we need to eventually get all the characters off of it. And you know, that's coming sooner rather than later. So yeah, we'll have more to share about that in the future. But that sounds like something we did do that, right? That was what the 5th season was a redux of the first season, and that was largely driven by player interest in getting those specific first season items again. Another crack at like the bloody footprints and what have you. We could totally do that again. So the idea is out there, I would say. For sure. But the specifics of what we might do next, we'll tell you more about that as we get closer to it. Can you just escape out of the bank if you want to close it all? I can't. I don't know. I don't know when the last time I tried doing that is. I couldn't tell you what the behavior is. I apologize. All right, so let me talk a little bit about this imbuement update. So what we're doing is we're taking some of the procs that existed in existing enhancement trees and then adding new abilities, new imbues. It's a new kind of toggle in the game that'll add extra damage to your attacks. The extra damage can be specific to like certain things like weapon types or combat styles, melee or ranged. And imbues will scale their damage based on bonus imbue dice, similar to like weapon dice. You know, 1d6 if you get +1 dice, it's now 2d6. If you get +2 dice, it's now 3d6, etc. Turning on an imbue is a toggle. It will turn off the whatever else you've got toggled on. And many former procs from the existing abilities in class enhancement trees are now imbues. Benefits that previously boosted proc damage are now generally boosting imbue dice. I'm not going to read this full list, but I am slowly scrolling past it on the screen. You can see that in a lot of cases, we've taken the tier 5, in a few cases tier 4, and in one case, I believe even a tier 3. We're adding dice, and you'll see this. Like in Vile Chemist right up at the top. But even, say, for example, Cleric Dark Apostate, tiers 2, 3, 4 will grant +1 die. Tier 5 will grant +2 die. Things like that. So you can just kind of see where it's all going to be falling in. But overall, it's a system that we're doing for both system reasons and performance reasons. A lot of the kind of random procs and communication that happens throughout the game is not particularly performant, and is something that we've been working to address. Now, this isn't going to solve lag or anything like that. So just to be clear, it's part of an overall process to improve both gameplay and our system itself and its underlying communication. So there we go, and we've had it previewed somewhat controversially on Lemania, and we are taking a look. We have been, responding to your feedback. We did a pretty significant pass on this during the Lemania preview process, and we'll make sure to do further as necessary here in the future. But it's looking pretty good, and you can also see that there's some, say, in feats, destinies, universal enhancement trees. It's a lot of enhancement tree stuff, but it's mostly about turning procs into toggles and scaling your damage up pretty significantly in some cases. So we also have, though, as a third bullet point in Update 57, some changes that are being made to hit points. This is aimed at giving players, particularly in the earlier part of the game, a few more hit points to work with. Epic defensive fighting is getting replaced. That's sort of the crunchy bit, is epic defensive fighting is getting replaced. The bulk of the hit points granted with epic defensive fighting, like aka the reason you took it, are now distributed in combat-style feats and enhancement trees, with some changes to class hit dice. Replacement competence bonuses, that's the type, competence bonus, has been spread around enhancement trees, mostly in the tier 5s of melees, although, like I said, there's a few others in there as well. Actually, when I was talking about tier 5, I was talking about hit points more than imbues, but I think it's there too. Heroic durability has been updated to provide 30 hit points. In addition, for every melee-style combat feat you take up to 4, you will gain a 25% bonus to the hit points gained from your class levels, so up to 100%. Epic and legendary levels count half, and the bonus can't go above 100%. All classes that had a hit die of D4 now have a D6. Bard, Artificer, Rogue are now D8. Ranger is D10, and actually I think one of those is incorrect as well. We need to get that corrected in the notes. I saw something on the forums about that. Let me see if I can. A player called us out, and I'm working to change that page, but I can't do it at the moment. Inquisitive, yeah, is a 1d10 instead of 1d8. So I guess we haven't gotten there yet. But yes, Inquisitive is that. All right. What else should we mention? I'm not, again, going to go through the list. It's just a little bit too wordy. But you'll see throughout the enhancement trees, particularly in the tier 5s, things like plus 20, 25% competence bonus to your hit points, in addition to the previous effects that these things already had. And so we really are just putting in a bunch of hit points there rather than epic defensive fighting and such. Like I said, I'm not going to read this whole thing because it's just too much to read. But overall, that's what you'll see. All right, now let me get to the questions. Maybe we will go through some of the complexities of this if we need to, but let's see what the questions bring us, huh? Is there a pay to access for new content? If you are VIP, the new quest pack is available to you for free. And if you are not VIP, it will be available for DDO points in the DDO store. I'm sorry, I'm not quite sure what someone's asking. Someone's asking something about a cup that I was using. This one just actually happens to be an old antique. This is Morton Salt. Is that what that is? Morton Salt. And then I got my Pac-Man glass for water. All right. Let me take a look, Jenny, real quick at the release notes myself to see if I can better answer your question. Several changes were the release note in question is under Sorcerer Wizard of the hit point changes. Several changes were made here due to the shorten spell range playstyle going away. Reminder, any bonuses marked passive works if you own the enhancement. So what is intended there is, remember, epic defensive fighting essentially created a touch range for spells. Your spells got shortened quite a bit in terms of their range. Now that that is no longer going to have to be an issue, that some changes were made to accommodate for that. What they mean by any bonus marked passive working if you own the enhancement is because as long as you've invested that point, as long as you've got that enhancement, you will get the passive bonus. Whether, say, the enhancement is just a passive bonus by itself or tied to something like a toggle or an activated ability. So, basically, you're not going to have to press anything or toggle anything in order to get the passive bonus. It's just going to be there regardless of the kind of enhancement that it is associated with. All right, let me take a quick look at our company email. Ooh, we have progress. We have progress, folks. We're not open yet, but we're getting pretty close, I think. Let me see what I've got. I've got more to say or not. I do not. But we are close. We're really putting the final touches on essentially the DTO store work at this point. And as QA is going through the not related to the DTO store part of the process to reopen the games. You know, they do things like, can I get to all the game worlds? Is the bank working? Things like that. And they're in the process of doing that right now, and we are making progress. So yeah, should be fine to go live by 1 o'clock here, I would expect. So let's get back to the questions, huh? I don't know the answer to that question. I should know the answer to that question. I had not heard of us resetting all of everyone's enhancement trees. That's kind of a pain to deal with, although I recognize that some folks would like to see that. So I will have to get back to you on that. I don't know if we're resetting enhancement trees. I don't think so. When is something going to be added to Reaper? Irrimated wants to know. What about some cosmetics from 100 to 300 points? Well, I think the crux of the question you're asking is, do we have interest in supporting players that have accumulated an incredibly large number of excess Reaper points? I'm not sure the answer to that is yes. Now, that doesn't mean you're never going to get to use it or anything, but I don't know that it's our intention to necessarily support people with, 156 Reaper points in terms of active gameplay or other benefit. So I think that, to some extent you've already won, that part of it. But we will have to there are enough of players out there, I think, that have a large number of Reaper points and have asked us to do something about it, that it is something that we will continue to consider and discuss and figure out what to do with. But I have not heard. I would not expect a solution to that particular piece of the puzzle anytime soon. I think there's a lot of questions that need to be asked about, okay, well, what would we do? And how would we do it? And what would be the impact of that? And, a whole bunch of other things. So I'm not really in a position to say what we might do today. I do know that it's been discussed, and I do know that it remains a thing that people, especially those who have a ridiculous number of Reaper points, would like us to do something with. So, uh, at JTom2 asks, why do tomes and such trade for crafting goods rather than medium Eberron dragon shards tradable for XP pots? Well, you may have answered your own question, because I'm not sure that we would want a near endless supply of XP pots, and having it gated through medium Eberron dragon shards may, you certainly could do something different there, but maybe we're pretty comfortable with where it is right now. I think I remember the changes to make tomes and such tradable was part of an overall desire to find additional use. I don't need it for really much anything at this point. What else can I do with it? And it making sense to be able to use it for Caneth crafting and such at the time, which was of particular interest to the community. So I think it's really a process of it got there because of of how it got there. And as to why it doesn't do something else, it could. We could certainly look at that in the future. But I think it was done deliberately to enhance the Caneth crafting system specifically, rather than allow players to get a large supply of XP pots. I have not heard plans, Morthen, to shorten the heroic lives in terms of XP needed. No one has to go do everything, right? I mean, I appreciate what you're saying, that yes, especially as we add more things, the path to getting everything complete gets longer. I do appreciate that, yes. Um, but I've not heard of plans to shorten the amount of XP needed for past lives. Sorry. It might be, quote, easy regarding the use for excessive Reaper points. Ones that are, we have players that have a much larger number of Reaper points than really were ever designed into the system as launched. And that's really on us for kind of creating a situation, I think, where players could accumulate and accumulate and accumulate, far beyond any practical use. And that's always a bit of a design pickle, isn't it? To try to address. But there's a question basically saying, what about an epic moment like thing that would cost 100 Reaper points? I think when you get into power levels, you get particularly tricky. What I was going to say earlier is the quote easy way to do it, and I've seen this brought up on the forums and elsewhere, would be to make it cosmetic rewards or something like that. But I'm not sure that the people who have worked to get all those points would really want a cosmetic. I think that they would really want another tree or power or ability or something like that. And I think that ultimately also is the rub then, in terms of, well, how much do you reward that level of over acquisition of points and things like that, right? It's a tricky pickle, isn't it? Yeah. Maybe it's a combination. Maybe it's a combination of cosmetics and practical rewards that have yet to be identified. But yeah, you know the whole power creep phrase and discussion enters the debate very quickly when you start talking about what you might do with that kind of number of points. Did I not say I was getting rid of the chair? This chair, the one I'm sitting in. Yes, and the year was early 20. It was 2019, early 2020, and I was intending to show it off on stream and then donate it to a local charity that needed furniture. And then COVID hit, and nobody could was willing to take furniture anywhere. And then enough time went by that the chair itself is it's worn. You know, I've sat in it long enough that I'm not sure I'd want to donate it at this point. So I've kept it. That's the story of this chair. But that was the intention, is to donate it because it was an extra life, and then COVID hit. So I am looking at chat. So for the remaining couple of months of the year, I think we're probably due within the next few months here for a new producer's letter, if we can. Talking a little bit more about kind of what our plans are beyond update 57 here. But we're currently planning to have a small game patch of some form, whether it's just a few quality of life things, some bug fixes, and beyond in early December. That also is going to be able to bring in Festival this year. So we are going to have Festival in December with, you know, new adjusted cookies and the typical things for the holiday. We have in the short term our kind of Black Friday sales and December deals, and that's a big deal as a company here too. But that's also a pretty big deal for players because this is historically when we offer. I think it's pretty safe to say that this is when we offer some of our deepest ever discounts on things. And not just for Black Friday, but also throughout the month of December. So it's kind of a big deal in terms of if you've been waiting for a discount on something to maybe pick something up. We'll be doing some work related to that as well. So we've got a follow-up patch if necessary for update 57 here as well. And I think that's largely going to carry us through the year. So we'll have Festival and this new content and things beyond. And then as we start looking into early 2023, I can't say yet. But rest assured, we have people already working on things. And those things will be announced when we can, but not today. A quick sec. I am reading emails. Wait just a second. Oh, yes. Yes. Humble Friar is in chat here. Someone is asking me if it is indeed Humble Friar. Yes, it is. Humble Friar is a member of the DDO development team and is in our Twitch chat right now as well. So, hello. No one's impersonating this dev. This is the person. So, any word yet on when the Night Revels Encore will be? I don't. I think we have to get a few things out the door here today before we can turn our attention to it. But our intention is to offer an Encore weekend, something like that, for Night Revels in the relatively near future, because we've heard some demand by the community that they have excess keys and ingredients that they'd like to spend down before we expire. So the intention is to do that in the near future. But, whether we have a Night Revels Christmas, that seems a little weird, but maybe we could fit it in anyway, just because people want it. And, hey, wasn't there a movie or something? I don't know. Either way, Night Revels, I think, will be coming back in the near future. We are going to be bringing back an Encore weekend before we expire. So the timing will have to wait till I can announce it, though. Yeah, and Humble Fryer wants to know if you end up having a load screen hang, just give Humble Fryer a quick message on the forums with the player name, server date, and time. Those things are important. Player name, server date, and time. Humble Fryer is doing a little work related to load screen hangs and could use some raw data to help accommodate an investigation. You may regret saying that in Twitch chat, by the way, Humble Fryer, as your inbox gets pummeled. But, however, hey, raw data is raw data. So, if it's been like 2 weeks, though, since this podcast aired, you probably don't need to send it in anymore. This is going to be like over the next 24 hours or so. Would be my guess. Will the forum update come this year? Woody Hart 777 wants to know. I don't think so. Originally, there was hope that we could get the forum work out not that long after the website update that happened this past year, but the process is just taking a little longer than expected. So my expectation at this point is 2023, probably earlier in 2023. Whether early means January or March, I think it's a little up in the air at this point. But we will be getting some new forums for DDO.com. I have a task in, for example, to help pick the background screen and what have you, and that'll be kind of fun, actually. So, I have the power. It's going to be the worst image. It's going to be the broccoli. No, it isn't. Okay, what was I saying? Anyway, so what the plan is, though, just to reiterate, because it has been a little while, we're going to be getting some new forums for DDO.com, and when we do that, our intention is to archive the existing forums in a read-only state, so that you'll be able to access your stuff and copy and paste it over into the new forums. You are, however, you are almost certainly, going to have to start with a fresh account on the new DDO forums. We need to get away from all the spaghetti mess that is a decade plus of old forum content management systems and what have you. That's the reason why this has to happen. And so everyone's going to be starting with fresh accounts. Yes, that means you're going to have to get your name. Yes, hopefully people won't snipe it. I can make it against the rules to snipe and take care of it if I need to, but people are going to start fresh with new accounts on these forums, and then the existing forums will just sit there in a read-only state. And that'll be coming probably it'll be in 2023. As to when exactly it'll happen, I don't know. I'm also hoping to take a look at some of the other features that have long been suggested that we add for the forums when we do this changeover. I can't guarantee, for example, that we may have any kind of blog software, or that we'll have a newer kind of upvoting, downvoting system, perhaps. I would like to be able to give people the ability to set their own avatars and forum titles, for example. I'd love to see more accessibility options as well. And it'll give us an opportunity to take a look at some of the categories of forums we have. So if you have any thoughts about why do we still have a forum section about, we can take care of that as well, or maybe add some things to make it more current to the community. So I'm looking forward to it, but it'll be in 2023. And I can't say it's going to be a painless process, but it should be relatively easy. You'll just have to create a new forum account. My belief right now is that we're intending to not have login by game account. That could change by the time we go live, but at least today that is my understanding. I don't know what this weekend's bonus damage is, but bonus damage. Yeah, what is this weekend's bonus damage? That's something we don't do. Okay. This weekend only. Fire is now 20% more fiery. I can't speak to the size of the development team. I'm sorry, we don't really provide numbers for things like that. I have not heard. I don't think we will not be doing, say, a UI rescaling this year. I can definitely confirm that. Someone in chat who has a very bright red name on my blurry monitor, Dalneric, is asking if an icon resizing is happening this year. The answer is no. All right, let's see if I can get you an answer as to what our bonus weekend is. Oh, no, here it is. Okay. What day is it today? Okay, yes. This would be for... Oh, hey, whoever was writing in the schedule must have also been a forum reader. Because our bonus this weekend is a 50% crafting XP boost. 50% crafting XP boost. And that's going to kick off late morning Eastern time tomorrow and run through Sunday. There was a discussion on the forum specifically saying, yo, Cordo, we want a Cadith crafting XP boost. It's been quite some time since we did one. So yes, this weekend, 50%. Nice. I wasn't sure we were going to be able to fit that in because people have been busy this week. Very nice. I don't think you can read in the glare of my glasses, but if so, you have much better eyesight than me. So there's a first-time chatter, welcome, who has an ancient game account with a no longer accessible email that they cannot access. Is there a chance they can get their account back if they contact support? Yes, there is a chance. It depends on what other kind of supporting information you may be able to align with what we have in our system as linked to your account, right? So if you've even if you don't know your email, there may be some other ways we can invalidate your credentials and such. So you can get in touch with account support through help.standingstonegames.com. It'll probably take a while. And it may not be successful. There are times where if you are simply not able to provide information that we can use to verify your identity, sometimes it is true that you may not be able to get an old account back if you've lost access to such critical information. But there are many times that they can as well. Things like, say, credit cards and other forms of identification that they can discuss with you in the ticket. A bonus damage weekend is a really bad idea. I just want to say for the record. I discussed Corchet about our current state of character transfers earlier on in the broadcast here today. The answer is we're working to reopen them, and we may have some news shortly within the next few hours to share. But I can't share it with you today because I need to, right now at this moment, because I need to confer with the rest of the team, figure out what we have been able to do or not do, succeed or not succeed at, and then get that messaging ready. So expect an official announcement on character transfers soon, but I can't share with you anything at this moment. How it's already it's been I guess maybe I'm not going to get to share the new quest with you. I apologize. So no, we do have our downtime listed as 1 o'clock, which is in 14 minutes here. I was hoping we might be able to get the worlds open so I could show you a little bit of update 57, but I guess it's just a downtime show today. So there we go. Okay. Yep. I have an email from just a few seconds ago that we are still on track for 1 o'clock. So that is that. I think we're going to kind of have to wrap up the show here. I don't know that I do have something I could mention here quick. I did talk a little bit about Extra Life, and I'm going to be doing a broadcast on DDO stream. It'll be fairly impromptu, but I'll announce it on the forums and Twitter and such. Maybe Friday, maybe Saturday. It depends what's going on. I know, for example, I've got a big preview on Friday on the other game side on their Twitch channel, but I don't really have anything going on Friday night that I'm aware of. So maybe. I want to just quick call out that we did raise more than $25,000, which was our goal. We have raised more than $28,000 so far for Extra Life. This is through Team Standing Stone Games, and you can find out more about that at extra-life.org/team/Standing Stone Games. We've had a lot of DDO players donate so far, and I really do appreciate that. I'll be working to get people their incentives in the coming weeks. Officially, we're going to be doing all of the giveaways after November 30th, which is the end of the fundraising campaign. But if I can get folks their stuff a little bit earlier, I will. And how I'm going to get you your stuff is once you've donated to Team Standing Stone Games, or honestly just about anyone, if you got a friend or something, that's fine too. I need you to contact me through a survey link on the DDO forums and on the website. It's also on DDO.com. The Extra Life page. Just go to DDO.com, click on the Extra Life sort of news article, and you'll see a link there. Follow that link, and you'll basically say, here's how you can get in touch with me. And then this is the stuff I want. And I've got like a comment section for anything else, if you want more of one thing, if you want to double up a whole bunch of one thing, if you got some special consideration, it's all good. Just put it all in the text there. And then I'm going to be going through survey by survey and getting people their stuff here in the coming days. So, but I have no way really to know otherwise, if you don't fill out that survey link, how to get you your stuff. So please do fill that out once you've donated. We're also giving away an Ultimate of Violet Dread. That's going to be after the end of November there as well. So, and yeah, we even have a new Theracound creature companion pet. This is not brand new. It's dropped just a few times earlier this year, I believe for the anniversary. I dropped just a few, but not much. And this is really the first time people have an opportunity to get this Theracound creature companion. So. Yes, I am back to live streaming. My intention is to stream every Wednesday, starting at noon Eastern here again. This is just on Twitch. I'm not doing YouTube and Facebook live at this point. I am updating the videos afterwards to said channels, and that's really just part of a work-from-home process. It's hard to get the bandwidth to do 3 1080p streams at the same time from my internet. Maybe someday that'll change, but it's not going to change anytime soon. So I'm doing the live streaming on Twitch, and then the videos will be up on Facebook and YouTube. But yeah, I'm back. I'm back and happy at it. I actually got a few characters. Well, I have one character that's absolutely ready, in addition to the other characters that were pretty good on the stream. I now have a character on Orion that is, I filled out dinosaur bone crafting item on, a weapon, and I've got some gear and such now. So I've got a character that can play on Orion pretty more effectively than any of the characters previously. And I'm also doing that on Wayfinder too, so I'm going to have a nice character on Wayfinder to play. And that's been my DDO time lately, is really doing that. I did a bunch of night revels. That Isle of Dread dinosaur bone work was not nothing, so I kind of had to grind up a character from, I guess, level 27 to 32, and then do all the dinosaur bone crafting from scratch on that. So that took a little while, and that's what I've been doing most recently, though. But it turned out great, and boy, did I get pretty good at getting to those dread quests and wilderness areas. It was a good time, so had a lot of fun with it. And now I got a nice, cool weapon. My fear is I ever get a metered connection. I mean, everyone's got a metered connection in the US for the most part, but it's a very high number before they start to throttle you. If I ever had a hard metered connection like some of the poor folks around the world, I would have a panic attack. And yes, at JCOM, it is the upstream that's the issue. Most, like my downstream is not even close to being maxed out. But when I was trying to do 1080p to all three channels at the same time, it was a little too much to really get it done. And that's why we were seeing some of the frame rate and other issues on the stream. I believe we had changed the default server recommended game world relatively recently, Air Maiden, but I will double check to see what we did there. I know that's our intention to swap it around more regularly. Yeah, it just recently changed to Orion. Mm-hmm. That's what I thought. I thought that was the case. Thank you so much for Rainman64 for chiming in there. I know I have audio sync issues with my microphone. I don't know what the solution is. What's weird is that it's not showing up for me in XSplit, and when I record video in XSplit, it's not showing up for me there either, which means it's probably something to do with Twitch. And I don't quite know how to correct it, but it annoys me a lot. Reduce the sound hertz? Something to look into. Yeah, something to look into. That could be something like that. All right, well, I mean, we're at 12:53. I've got a game world to announce getting open in the real near future here, so I think I need to head on out so I can actually get the work part of reopening the game worlds done. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me here this week on the Weekly Wednesday Lunchtime live stream. Normally, it's not just going to be me sitting here for most of the hour, just kind of fielding Q&A, but we do that too and have fun. If you're watching on YouTube and Facebook afterwards, thank you so much. Please feel free to make your comments in the appropriate place below. I'll be back next Wednesday, and we'll be running Update 57 stuff for sure next Wednesday as well. Stay tuned for more information about character transfers. Stay tuned for more information about just a fun Extra Life live stream. I'll just be playing live in the game worlds and hanging out. And we'll have more information about Festival and that too in the near future. So thanks everyone for being here. I'll talk to you again soon.